All right. Awesome. Well, welcome. We got Shelly from GeoStar. Shelly, give me a little bit of a background of who you guys are, where you're from, history, that type of thing.
Sure, sure. So I started GeoStar's Chicago location about 2 years ago in the research part of the field of regenerative medicine for roughly about 2 decades now. We're headed up by Dr. Anand Shrivastava, who's our Chief Scientific Officer of the company, who has done incredible things on the research side of regenerative medicine.
Cool. I appreciate that. And so, you guys hired us, I don't know, maybe about 6 months ago coming in here. And I'm just going to ask you a few questions. What was it like before Invigo actually came on and started working with you guys?
I'm sorry, could you repeat it? You kind of cut out there a little.
Yeah, sorry. What was it like before, Invigo actually came in and started managing communication and digital marketing?
In a nutshell, disaster. We had a lot of great ideas, a lot of energy, a great marketing team, headed up by the director here. So we did a lot of wonderful things, but we were short in terms of manpower, and we were short to really we could not put all the pieces together properly. And that's where you guys came in and did a spectacular job.
Cool. So let's talk a little bit about sort of the problem that you were trying to solve. Like, obviously you said that, there was it was a disaster. When you hired us, you were looking for somebody to come in and do what? What was that problem that you were looking to have solved and managed for you?
Sure. The main problem was we were facing a very high cost per lead. That was one of the things. So we were spending a bundle on marketing with a very low return on investment, and the ROI just wasn't there. We were spinning our wheels. We needed help with, our presence online. We needed help with our SEO, with paid search, you name it.
So cost per lead, what was it before? Like, what were we looking at in terms of your cost per lead and conversion and that type of thing? If you got some of those numbers.
I don't recall exactly, but it was much, much higher than what we have right now.
Okay. All right. Well, we can get into that, or I can find that info probably. When you started to hear about us, where did you start your search? What were you looking for? Because there's so many like so-called, kind of guys that can, say that they're going to grow or do something with your business. And I'm sure you've kind of gone through the gamut of it. But where did you start your search when you were looking for us?
Facebook. Yeah. And I, had been watching your ads, Bob, for several months. So I had this on top of my mind that we need to make a big change here and take the plunge. And, it's a big step to take for any company. But, once you establish that trust with a good partner, and you guys have been great, it goes well.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. What made our service kind of stand out from everybody else? I know that we talked a little bit about that before, but what made our service stand out from, everybody that you've kind of gone through?
Sure. I would say from a price perspective, the ROI that you're getting, the holistic approach that you take. One of the things that you're not the type of company that just cares about generating a bunch of leads, because a bunch of leads mean absolutely nothing to a company unless it converts into revenue. So we were very grateful and appreciative that you analyzed our sales process as well, from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, so we did a lot of work right in the beginning on the sales process. Like we had probably calls a weekly, I think, or maybe twice a week initially to try to figure out where that leak was that we needed to plug. And we kind of did that, didn't we? Like in the first kind of month. I mean, kudos to you guys too, because you guys take quick action. But, tell me a little bit about that. Like expand a little bit about, how we brought, Deborah in and that type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So Deborah, like we brought her on and she was a great asset. And so thank you so much for the introduction. But outside of that, you know, we had a full analysis of the sales process. So you really pushed us into gear to get a whole process flow diagram. So there's a big picture and a thorough understanding for all of the whole team to really understand how the sale works and the some of our roadblocks that we were facing.
Yeah, yeah, fixing up that was important, I think, right in the beginning, because a lot of times people get this mistake and they hire a marketing company and they start generating a bunch of leads and then they can't figure out what is going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't fix your sales process up right in the beginning, you're going to have some problems. It doesn't matter who it is that brings in. And many of the guys that are out there, they don't really understand that because they're either doing their training in you know, just running Facebook ads or running Google ads or doing SEO, but understanding the mechanics of like how that person needs to come in and slow play the whole process and, you know, that sales cycle and stuff like that. You guys, you know, do a good job. You had a lot of it set up prior to, but it just wasn't connecting on many of the levels that it is today.
Absolutely.
Um, you talked about this, that you were getting ads for months prior to, and I probably there's people that are listening to this that are getting the same thing because I advertise a lot. Uh, what was the thing that prevented you from buying or, you know, doing business with us prior to? Like, why did it take you so long?
I'm so sorry you cut out in the very end there.
Oh,
Can you
sorry.
repeat
Like,
that for me?
yeah, why did it take you so long? Like, what was the thing that was preventing you from doing business with us earlier?
I think it was just getting the whole team on board.
Hmm.
You know, we kind of had been burned before. We spent a lot of money on marketing. We're not seeing the ROI. So we knew we had a great service to offer, science behind us, and really needed to understand what the disconnect was. So
Yeah, 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 for sure. What features or services sold you initially on our service? Like, what was it that kind of said, you know what, we need to do this?
I think it was your presence online.
Hmm.
I was drawn to your ads and I was drawn to your energy.
Okay.
And, you know, I really felt, okay, you guys could be great partners. You were not focused on one little aspect of the whole, you know, every segment to make a holistic type of approach to it.
Yeah. So you said something there very key, which is partners. And I like to think all the time that we are partners. Like, if there's something that goes wrong internally, like bringing a Deborah on, and for those that are watching, we ended up finding somebody for GeoStar and making that introduction. And now she's, you know, part of the team there is doing fantastic. Uh, you know, you don't do that with just a regular kind of a Facebook ad person that is running it, but a partnership is very important for people to understand because um, you know, we care about what goes on inside of your business, and if we're not doing something on our end, well, you know, we have to fix that and make sure that we're doing that, because it's going to have an effect on your company as well.
Mhm.
um, what have you been able to, what made you happiest, the most happiest about working with our company up until this point?
God
Like,
again.
yeah, what made you the happiest about working with our company up until this point?
I think you have a very collaborative approach. You are very upfront and tell it like it is. You're not always just agreeable to the client and whatever they want to do. You're going to give the honest truth and what's good for your clients every step of the way. Your expertise is phenomenal in the field
Well, thank
itself. Yeah, you have a team, an incredible team of very, very hardworking people who are really dedicated to this, and it speaks volumes of your company.
Yeah, we're really proud of the team that we have. They work their butts off, and they'll, you know, we have a motto here that we're obsessed with results, and that, you know, we want to make sure that you guys are being taken care of at every single level. Um, what has exceeded your expectations with working with us? You've seen other companies, you've worked with them, but what has exceeded your expectations? What did you think that we've done, we didn't, weren't going to do, or whatever it may be?
Uh-huh. Well, I think a lot of companies, they are just one-offs in terms of, okay, we offer you SEO, or we offer you paid search. Here's your ad. They don't know a lot about the industry. You come with industry knowledge and expertise on that front. And that was one of the biggest things I was looking for a partnership, is that expertise and knowledge. A highly scrutinized industry. And so it has to be very, very delicately handled when it comes to our marketing.
Yeah, that's so true, and we've been through many talks on those things. And again, like I've been doing this for many years and understand kind of the ins and outs of how this industry kind of works. What have you been able to achieve so far by using our service, going within?
Well, definitely our revenues have increased substantially. It took a little bit of time, of course. And I think one of the biggest things that people need to understand, especially those that don't have a marketing background, is the patience that's involved. The patience of building out the whole system out. So that's really important to understand, that takes time. And then once we put the pieces together with the sales, as well as, our sales team, it's all coming into play. Even in the difficult environment with COVID-19. So I'm thoroughly impressed, and I'm very excited about the future.
Yeah, I call it the machine. Once it takes a little bit of time to build the machine, but once you build that machine, you can literally turn that machine on and off whenever you choose to. And you can utilize that machine in different verticals in anywhere you want to go. And we've done it. We've done it with, hair restoration and different sort of verticals. And once you built that, you can kind of move it on and build the sort of the pillars of the business, which we've talked about in the past as well. What's the main reason you would recommend somebody that's maybe watching this on the fence, whatever? What's the main reason you would recommend our service? Or even if you would, yeah.
I would definitely recommend your service.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. The main reason is you're results oriented and results driven, and you're looking out for your client's best interests.
Yeah, well, cool. I appreciate that. I mean, again,
you're increase the revenues, which you have. I'm sorry?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, you helped us increase our revenues tremendously in a very short period of time, which was very impressive, especially given the current environment with COVID-19. So that's outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, that's, in fact, a lot of clinics that we dealt with, we were able to kind of push through and kind of modify, and where a lot of guys were just throwing in the towel and saying, when it's all over, the lockout's over, we'll walk back in. But you guys didn't do that. And I'm so happy that you didn't, because neither did I. Just so you know, I actually increased my ad spend because I knew that this was, there's more people at home watching our stuff. What was there anything that we could have done differently or can do differently? I mean, you can be honest, because this is obviously something that as partners we talk about, and we want to grow and be better. And so, is there anything that we could do differently?
I know, of course, there's limited resources, and I understand that, but I think I'm trying to think from a perspective of a physician or a practice that you bring on board, where their expertise is medicine versus what we kind of bring to the table. Our team has a background in marketing. We have expertise in our customer relationship management system. So I think really the only thing that I would say is maybe a slightly more hands-on approach to the customer relationship management system, in terms of build out some of those campaigns on that front. I'd say that was probably the only thing, but in all fairness, I didn't let you even get there because that was kind of my domain, my baby. So I'm not sure, maybe you do have a very hands-on approach in that front. So. Yeah,
no, I mean, you're fantastic at it. It's funny because when you talk about like somebody else, this is a good reminder to people. And I'll tell you a quick story. When I was about 23 years old, I was in the real estate business, and my mentor told me, he says, Bob, you're not in the business of selling real estate. I said, what are you talking about? He says, the business of selling real estate is you going into your car, taking a home buyer, going and showing that home. And I said, well, that's what it's about. That's what everybody does. And he says, no. He says, you're in the business of marketing your real estate sales business. And that really changed, that changed my career, you know, ever since then. Some guys got it. I was in a group with a bunch of people. Some guys didn't. And what that told me is that, hey, listen, if I can just figure out lead generation and marketing and understanding how a machine is put together, I can find other people to do this. You know, I can find other people to sell or take them out in my car or go to show them homes and pay them a little bit. But in order for me to scale, I have to be able to figure this out. And so that's why it's so awesome to work with you guys, because you understand marketing. So the conversation is a lot easier for us. You're just like, yeah, no problem. Let's do this. Right. And it's refreshing actually, because not many people are in that space. Is there anything else that you would like to comment about or say about our service or product, or you know, how we're operating, that kind of thing? Anybody that might be on the fence?
Sure, absolutely. It's worth every penny. It's worth every penny, and you really have to think about your ROI. You know, sometimes marketing, it sounds like a lot of money you're spending. It's a chance you take. It's a part to think things through without a doubt, but you really have to think about, well, how many patients do you need to really break even with that marketing spend? What is your worst case scenario here? If you run the numbers and you really think it through that way, it makes perfect sense to move forward.
Yeah, and you said something, well, I appreciate you saying that. You said something earlier too about patience. And many guys don't have the patience, because you know, if you've been in, let's say, for example, you've been in business for 15 years or 20 years, that problem does not get fixed in a month or two. You know, you have a lot of problems that are inside your business, whether it be structurally, you know, financially, marketing wise, how you're operating, front staff, you know, to the back, right? Like there's a lot of things that have gone on over the past, you know, 10, 15, 20 years, depending on how many years you've been in business. And that doesn't happen overnight. And sometimes people will come in here, yes, overall you want a great ROI, but sometimes people will look at it and say, well, yeah, if it doesn't turn around in a month, like I'm going off to the next guy. And you'll see those same people like just switching. And, you know, we're proud of the work that we've done with you guys in GeoStar. And we're now, we're moving into your international arm into India and other areas, and starting to work with that. So I'm assuming we're doing an okay job in order for us to kind of get that as well. So
absolutely, a wonderful job.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your time, Shelly. You know, I know you're busy, and I want to thank you for jumping on and sharing your thoughts with us, because it means a whole lot to us. Yeah.
You're most welcome. Thank you so much for all your hard work.
Oh, thank you. All right.